So next we actually have what has become the most popular segment of our weekly town halls. So this is going to be our 78th Art Talk with Sarah Kane. And we actually have decided to do something a little bit unusual with this one. So I'll actually let Sarah introduce what we're going to do. Sarah, let's highlight Sarah. Fantastic. Hello,
Hi,
Sarah.
everyone. So thank you for that wonderful talk on Peter Drucker. So we'll actually be, instead of focusing on an artist this week, we will be talking about a little bit of an overview and a background of Peter Drucker and some of his more popular books. So let me share my screen with you all and we will get started. So Peter Drucker was an Austrian American management consultant. He was an educator and an author whose writings contributed to the philosophical and practical foundations of the modern business corporation. He was born in 1909 and grew up in what he referred to as a liberal Lutheran Protestant household in Austria-Hungary. His mother studied medicine and his father was a lawyer and a civil servant. So he grew up in a household where intellectuals, scientists, and political leaders would meet up to discuss new ideas. After World War I, he moved to Germany to pursue more employment opportunities. And while in Frankfurt, he earned a doctorate in international law. He subsequently moved to London, where he worked for an insurance company and also as the chief economist for a private bank. So he clearly has a wealth of experience in many different fields, and this was perfect for his next career move. He relocated to the US with his wife and was a professor of management as well as a business consultant and freelance writer. So we'll be looking at some of the many books that he's written over the course of his life. So in the middle of the slide, you can see Drucker's certificate of naturalization to the US, which happened in 1943, and his book, The Practice of Management, which was published in 1954. So the practice of management popularized the concept of management with objectives for the successful execution of an organization's strategic plan. So it talks about how, quote, the manager is the dynamic, life-giving element in every business who defines the organization's mission, develops and retains productive teams, and sets goals. So kind of what Bernie and AJ have just been talking about. He had this idea, the management by organization, or MBO, and it helped managers organize and motivate their employees and promote effective communication. And this book is particularly famous because it was the first of its kind to really look at management as a whole and being a manager as a separate responsibility within a business. So while the practice of management kind of defines who a manager is and their role in a given company, managing for results defines how to manage a business. The full title of this book is actually Managing for Results, Economic Tasks and Risk-Taking Decisions. And this book is split into three parts. Part one is understanding the business. Part two is focus on opportunity. So that's building strengths and finding new potential. And then there's part three, which is a program for performance. So in this book, he's really laying out more of a game plan for a manager to follow in order to find efficiency and success within their business. And then some background on the photo on the left is that in 1971, Drucker came to California and created the first executive MBA for working professionals at the Claremont Graduate School. And the university's management school was officially named the Peter F. Drucker Graduate School of Management in his honor in 1987. So in 1966, Drucker published The Effective Executive, which discusses what exactly being an executive entails and the 5 pillars which make them effective leaders to others within the company and how they can best serve that company as a whole. So the main pillars of an effective executive are building on strengths, knowing the value of their time, making effective decisions, focusing on outward contributions, and concentrating on a few major areas that deliver outstanding results. Kind of like what Bernie was talking about, making 2 or 3 goals a year instead of 27 goals a year. So for decades, Drucker was widely regarded as the dean of this country's business and management philosophers, according to a Wall Street Journal article. And these pictures are from the convocation at St. John's University in 1996. In 1972, Drucker published Management, Task, Responsibilities, Practices. So this book, in Drucker's words, tries to equip the manager with the understanding, the thinking, the knowledge, and the skills for today's and also tomorrow's jobs. This was written after years of experience teaching management skills and also being involved in the day-to-day managerial aspects of multiple companies over the course of his life. Drucker discusses the tools and techniques of successful management practice that have been proven effective, and he makes them meaningful and really easily accessible. And on this slide, we can also see his cover on World Executives Digest magazine in 1987. These black and white photos are from that same ceremony at Claremont Graduate University from 1987. And his book, Innovation and Entrepreneurship, was published in 1985. So a lot of times we think of the words innovation and entrepreneurship as these kind of lofty ideas, kind of these untouchable things that you can't really grasp. But in this book, Drucker really gives concrete tools to achieve these goals and concepts. Innovation and entrepreneurship explains what established businesses, public service institutions, and new ventures need to know and what they need to do to succeed in today's economy. So Managing the Nonprofit Organization was published in 1990 and addresses the rapidly growing sector of nonprofits and how to effectively manage them. As Bernie also mentioned, Drucker took a turn to really focus on nonprofits in his career. Drucker provides explanations of mission, leadership, and goals, and the book also includes interviews with 9 experts that talk about key issues in this sector. And here's a little quote from the book. Quote, "The nonprofits are the American community. They increasingly give the individual the ability to perform and to achieve. Precisely because volunteers do not have the satisfaction of a paycheck, they have to get more satisfaction out of their contribution. They have to be managed as unpaid staff. But most nonprofits still have to learn how to do this, and I hope to show them how, not by preaching, but by giving successful examples." And the photos on this slide are from Drucker's 90th birthday. So the 5 most important questions you will ever ask about your organization is what Bernie and AJ just discussed, and it's a self-assessment guide that's crucial to an individual or an organization that's committed to becoming a leader. The 5 questions are, and they kind of went through this specifically with SMAs, what is our mission? Who is our customer? What does the customer value? What are our results? And what is our plan? Drucker says that answering these 5 questions will fundamentally change the way you work, helping you lead your organization to an exceptional level of performance. And the photos are from a Drucker Institute conference in 1998. The Essential Drucker is a condensed compilation of Drucker's ideas, starting from the practice of management that we talked about, published in 1954, all the way up to management challenges for the 21st century, which was written in 1999. And in his own words, Drucker says that this book is a coherent and fairly comprehensive introduction to management and gives overview of my works on management and thus answers a question I've been asked again and again: which of my writings are essential? And finally, we have the Daily Drucker, which is exactly as it sounds. This book contains 366 daily readings that cover a large range of Drucker's concepts and ideas. And at the bottom of each page, there are actionable steps on how to incorporate the daily reading into practice. So overall, Drucker published 40 books throughout his life, as seen in this collage. And shortly before he died in 2005, Peter was celebrated by Business Week magazine as the man who invented management. He was a consultant, a teacher, a writer, and there's also the Global Peter Drucker Forum, which is held annually. He was given many awards during his life, including the Grand Gold Decoration for Services to the Republic of Austria in 1991, and the Presidential Medal of Freedom in 2002. Thank you.
Wow, thank you, Sarah. That was really fascinating.